I'm glad to welcome the judges of the international pitching contest that will take place now for the next hour. The 5 companies that will present at the Brain Ring were actually chosen in the business plan competition, the first competition that was launched in September by Israel Skolkovo Gateway. And I'd like to wish to all the contest participants good luck and introduce the judges. Alexander Turkot, the Executive Director of IT Cluster from Skolkovo Foundation. Andrei Kamalov, Director of Investment, Biomedical Cluster from Skolkovo. Ilya Rybinsky, the Director of Energy Efficiency Cluster, Skolkovo Foundation. Mr. Harold Weiner, General Partner from Terra Venture Partners. Limor Sandak, Partner of Access Medical Ventures. And Mr. Yossi Vinitsky from Challenge Fund, the Executive Vice President. Welcome. Eyal Lifshitz, I forgot about him. Yeah. He is the chairman and moderator of this section. He is the CEO and general partner and co-founder of Peregrine Ventures, the chairman of Israeli Technology Incubator Forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Vitaly. Ladies and gentlemen, I will speak in Russian today. So, not really, no. It's a pleasure to be here, Vitaly and Alex. Thank you very much for organizing this event. I appreciate being here. We are here to see 5 companies. They are in different fields. They are in clean tech, they're in IT, they're in the medical field. We will spend 7 minutes on each presentation, and after that we will be discussing those companies with the audience and with the judges. After that, two of those companies will be picked out, and they will be the winners of this event. So we will see 5 companies. A company called Intelligent Multifunction System. It's for enforcement of traffics. Very impressive group of entrepreneurs. We'll see universal guiding for orthopedics, a very important and growing field. We'll see a company called Green Gold. We will see a company called Evilio, and we will see a company called Jointech in the medical device field. So without further delays, I would like to start with Intelligent Multi. בבקשה. Yes.
Hello. Okay, good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity to present our company here. So Argus team. So Argus team is developing an intelligent multifunctional system for enforcement of traffic rules. I guess the majority of the audience here holds driving licenses, and you drive on a daily basis, so I can imagine that every day on the road you can see traffic violations, you can see dangerous driving, so that's exactly the area that we are going to enforce. Well, So our team is developing a new generation traffic rules enforcement systems. And if I would like to conclude in one sentence, we enforce more violations for less price. Our system has various advantages. It is able to detect many of the violations that cannot be detected by current systems. It's mobile, it's customizable, and it can be adjusted to customer requirements. And it brings more income. As a consequences of usage, our system is less accidents and deaths in the roads, it's less expensive, and it requires less human force police. Okay, now let's go to the details. So some facts. Nowadays, there are over 800 million vehicles in the world, and towards the next 2 decades, it's going to be more than 1 billion vehicles. So all these vehicles are driving, execute, commit violations, accidents and fatalities in the road are increasing every year. Now, according to various researchers, over 95% of road accidents in the US and in Europe somehow are connected to driver behavior. In other words, that leads to traffic rule violations. And again, traffic rule violations are one of the most important facts in road accident and fatalities on the road. And again, various researchers show that better enforcement reduces number of accidents. And as well, governments and local authorities like to enforce traffic rules because it's quite a good income. Okay, you can say it's like additional unofficial tax. Well, so nowadays, systems that are used by police for enforcement of traffic rules are usually based on physical sensors, like laser technology, for example. And these enforcement cameras can detect only 2 types of violations. It's red light and speeding. And of course, it's not enough. These nowadays systems also are static, they are expensive, and they have quite a number of limitations. So our main idea is to develop an intelligent system for traffic rules enforcement that is capable to detect as much as possible wider variety of violations. And our approach is based on low-cost computer vision technology. So the main idea is this following. Exactly as human being can see the vehicle and he can follow its movement and can analyze and decide whether it was violation committed or not. By the same way, we try to implement it in our system. Using various computer vision algorithms, we detect vehicle and we track it. We analyze its movement in time and in space, so we can detect various violations according to traffic laws and customer requirements. Basically, our algorithms can detect any violations that can be described in geometrical terms and in time domain. So basically, you can see here a list of violations that our system is able to detect. It can start from quite simple ones like crossing of solid line or driving on shoulders, and it can go to much more sophisticated like yield sign or give way, stop, and so on. Okay, so as we see our product at the end, we want to supply a solution for the whole enforcement process, starting from installation of the hardware. The most important part of our system is the software, the algorithms that analyze the video that is coming from a video camera. So the relevant video clips that detect violation will be cut and sent to police for further processing. We're here using a graphical interface. The police will be able to approve or to reject the violation, and finally the automatically ticket will be generated. So the whole enforcement process will be included as our vision in the final product. So as for now, the concept that is based on the developed algorithm seems to be working. And in August this year, it was proved as working in field tests. So I would like to show a couple of short video clips showing how the system works. So here you can see the area where we track vehicles and analyze their movement. So these vehicles are supposed to stop close to this line, and you will see a number of violations. Well, right here it's not complete stop. It depends on the state of local authorities. But for example, this vehicle didn't stop, so the relevant video clip, okay, I'm short on time, sorry. And here you can see a vehicle that is going against, in opposite way. So this is also, this is inappropriate. So, and very shortly, we have another video that shows the public transportation line. Okay, any vehicle that is going here, and it's not bus, will be detected. As well, we can detect the distance between vehicles. It's also a violation if you don't keep a distance. Okay, so I do it short to show the user interface that will be used by the police at the end of the process. Well, so it will look like this. It's like a mailbox, so the policeman will receive a video clip of the stop violation, and he will just by pressing a button, he will be able to approve the violation and to generate a ticket that will be sent. Okay, so just in order to continue very shortly about the business model and the market. Basically, in every developed country, the enforcement authorities and police should be interested in such system because it's got various advantages. We estimated the total available market based on a very, very, very conservative basis. We think that this estimation is very conservative and number of cameras can be much higher. And we consider, I'm finishing here. We're considering two basic business models. The first one when we sell services, another one when we sell technology. When we sell services, we supply cameras for free and we share the income from the fines. It's quite acceptable in the US. Or we supply just the technology cameras per year per violation with the license updating. And so we look for the investment to complete the software development for the hardware. And this is our team. Sorry, I'm not in time, so this I will be glad to answer your questions.
Beautiful, Michael. Thank you very much. Okay, we should be staying here. Thank you very much for this nice presentation. Anybody from the jury would like to ask something? Okay. You're going to sell it to polices around the world. These are going to be your buyers.
Polices or municipalities. Yeah.
Municipalities. Isn't there a severe budget pressure on the police force to bring down budgets? It doesn't allow a lot of new technology to come in.
Yeah, we are aware of the fact that municipalities and polices are, it's an institutional market that is from one point of view can be difficult to penetrate. And it, of course it includes tenders and sometimes budget restrictions. But as to our impression in a developed country in Europe, and from the feedback that we received from presentation of the system to Switzerland, to Swiss police, at least in rich countries, they would like to obtain such a system. I don't know if it answers your question.
In ignoring bring down the numbers of accidents, which is absolutely a factor, the return of investment for police force would be after how much time?
Yes, sorry, can you repeat, please?
The return of investment, how long will it take that they will make in earnings what the system costs them?
Well, our original plan is to develop our own hardware, so the product will be quite cheap. We estimate that the manufacturing cost will be around $2,000. I don't know if it was your question when we will get the revenues for our system manufacturing cost will be about $2,000. Yeah. And the income that expected to come from the fines are much higher.
Do you have anybody within the team that has experience in approaching these polices or municipalities, or because it's more of an application than the high-end technology, so it's going to be a sales game, including a long sales cycle. So how do you intend to approach this market?
Yeah, actually, in Israeli police we just had meetings and it's fine. Abroad we just obtained potential finders or agents, at least in 2 countries. We obtained people with good connections in local authorities, and they presented the system there, and it was a quite positive feedback.
Are you aware about any other competition, some benchmark all over the world?
Yeah, so the competitors can be divided to two groups. The first one, the companies that are producing laser-based cameras, the old-fashioned, the old technology cameras. Basically, that main 2-3 players in the world. There are some companies that are doing surveillance and enforcement based on computer vision technologies, like company of NICE, for example, Israeli big companies that are doing surveillance, and they intend to do traffic enforcement as well, but it's a small niche of their activities, and as we know, their algorithms don't work very well. So that's why we don't see many of such systems, and we think that our software algorithms work quite well in order to make a good product from this.
So,
yes.
Do you have problems or barrier of regulation? Because actually your system is going, to force rules. So do you have, I'm not familiar with this area, so do you have some kind of regulation in order police or other authorities to use it? Do you have to show validation, some kind of validation of the system?
Yeah, well, it's quite a new technology, and we introduced the system to the Israeli police and Israeli Road Safety Authority. They published recently an RFI, request for information for such systems, and as we know, only 2 companies are going to participate. When we presented this system in Switzerland, they just required the standardization procedure for the hardware, and I guess it will be some test fields for the system. But again, if you look at our just a second, enforcement process, right here in this field, even if we have some mistakes, it will be filtered by it's semi-automatically detected. I hope it all answers your question.
Okay,
thanks.
Alex. Last question by Alex.
My question is basically a continuation of the previous one. Are you aware about any
legal implications or legal issues, say, privacy protection, like that, or how valid at all legally are these pictures, these clips? Because we all remember the times when a photo picture of violation was not recognized by court, for example.
Yeah. First of all, systems that recognize speed, for example, and send you a photo, this system has passed standardization procedures that they measure the velocity correctly. And one of the main advantages of our system that is static, we show a video clip. If a person that received the ticket, he can see the proof of violation in video clip, so the arguing can be questionable. If he can argue whether this violation has not been committed. And another feedback that we received from the police, that judges in Israeli court encourage bringing video clips as evidence and not only stills video, stills photos. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much, Michael. Lev is here. Beautiful. I would like to introduce to you Lev from LRS Orthopedics, a universal guiding for orthopedics. בבקשה, Lev. Please try to be within 6.5 to 7 minutes maximum. Beautiful, בהצלחה.
Thank you. I'm Lev Diamond, and I will be presenting here the LRS Ortho company. I was asked to do it because the CEO of this company, Mr. Giora Berndt, is unable to attend. So I'm one of the inventors and CTO of this company. So that's what I will do. We call it UGO, Universal Guiding for Orthopedics, and what is the reason? When the orthopedic surgeon is drilling into the bone, spine, or long bones, or pelvic, there is a very serious problem. He has to find the entry point and the direction, and he usually does it in freehand technique, holding the power drill in his hand, holding his breath, trying to adjust it according to X-ray pictures that he is taking all the time. When he is online, he thinks he is online, he starts to drill. Usually it is trial and error. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is not very good. And it may require a lot of radiation exposure, may require some large incisions, and current devices which are existing on the market are inadequate or very expensive. So surgeons continue to drill freehand. So what is needed in the market is an effective device that will help to aim and drill accurately, safely, and dramatically reducing the X-ray exposure. Now, we come with a solution that involves 3 parts. One is a mechanical jig with a small part which we call in for insert. You can imagine that when you have a non-dimensional object and you put it close to the bone and you make 3 or 2 X-rays, you can build a 3-dimensional picture and you can know exactly where you are with your aiming system. So one of them is the mechanical part. The second, because it's very important to have the X-ray machine aligned with the device. So we have a laser light alignment. And the third part is 3-dimensional X-ray imaging software, which helps to calculate the corrections that we need to make in the position of the drill. On this base, we have designed and envisioned several devices. The first of them, which is already in the end of development process, we call it bone fixator. This is for long bone fixation with intramedural nails. You can see here, this is the bone, this femur bone in this case. This is the mechanical structure, and this is the disposable plastic part with info insert. The device is developed. We have several prototypes. We got FDA clearance for it, and we got the Helsinki approval for medical testing, and we have already an FDA clearance for selling this device, but we still need to acquire some experience with it. I was asked to remove all the pictures with flesh and blood, so you see here very little. The surgeon in this picture is drilling into the bone. That is the device. Now, the second one, which is in concept development stage, we call it spine fixator. It will be used for accurate drilling in pedicles, and it will be used for operations like spine fusion, kyphoplasty, nucleoplasty. It will substantially reduce the risk of complications, save time and cost. The third one, which we call PEL fixator, will be used for pelvis operations, where the known practice today is to put very long screws into the pelvis, and that means 2 X-ray pictures for each millimeter of the positioning of the drill when the surgeon drills into the pelvis, because it is very dangerous to cross the bone and to touch the nerves. A few words about company profile. The company had started somewhere around between 2007 and 2006 in Maytag Incubator in Katsrin, Israel. The investment today in the company is $1.4 million. The company develops a range of products because we deal here with the platform technology, and we are looking to meet the clear need of multi-billion-dollar orthopedic market. We have strong IP. For example, for bone fixator, we already received validations for European patents and the USA patent in process. We have performed 34 successful clinical trials, mostly in Russia, in Ekaterinburg, in the Institute of the Trauma and Orthopedics, and we plan to have the first product to the market in about second quarter of 2012. As I said, we have experienced management. One of the people in the team is Dr. Alexander Lerner, who is the head of orthopedic department in Ziv Medical Center in Tzfat. Giora Bernat is a very experienced manager for medical device companies, and myself and several people to help. We have medical advisors from leading orthopedic surgeons in the United States and Israel. The target markets we are talking about is trauma, bone fixations, something like about $2.2 billion. The spine market is $7.1 billion, and the market is increasing all the time because of increased life expectancy, osteoporosis, obesity, sport activities. All these bring together more orthopedic procedures. And we hope to meet it. Certainly we have competitors in the market. All large companies who produce nails produce guiding devices for them. They are usually inconvenient and especially only for their nails. And they are almost not in use in the hospitals. The guidings for spine are very expensive. They are starting from something like $500,000 and more, and they don't shorten down the procedure. They only add the setup time. The business model we are talking about...
Okay, we will have to finish. Please wrap up. We will have to finish. Not 2 minutes. Just this slide, please.
we are talking about to be a standard of care in operation rooms. The sales will be based on device for multiple use and disposables for single use. And we want to approach the market through strategic alliances. And in parallel, we'll develop the approach with distributors if we don't succeed with strategic alliance. The revenue model is that we sell mechanical instruments and software one time and disposables for each operation. For bone fixator, we already have more or less exact numbers. And you see here that the selling price, about $2,000, is not high for medical device. And the disposables is $250 for one, and the margin is about 90%. We plan to raise now $2 million, and that's the division of them, $500,000 for development, about $900,000 for marketing, production, and G&A, altogether $2 million. Thank you, and if you have questions, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for this very thorough presentation. It was a bit long. We will have a bit shorter time now for questions. Limor, I'm sure that you have something.
I was wondering how you relate to the situation right now in the market that the healthcare environment is really difficult regarding paying to procedure that do not show clinical benefit. And I would like to understand how are you intend to show clinical benefit? Are you going, or you already have like less complication in the procedure, or because in fact you are having a system that is not, it's more of a guidance system, so it's not, you have to add cost to, to the overall procedure. So it's important for me to understand where is the clinical benefit, and if you have clinical data to show it.
First of all, if you're talking about USA market, there is a reimbursement code for this operation, fixed price, $3,000 for nailing, for example, $30,000 for spine operation. Now, the problem is time in the operating room, number of exposures, where the patient got them and walk out. But the doctor has all these exposures all the time. Part of the doctors even don't work with the protective sleeves. So if we reduce from mean number of 50 to 100 shots per aiming, not per operation, just per aiming, to 3-4 shots, it is 30 times reduction. It's very important, and we plan to have from 5 to 6 minutes per 2 screws aiming and drilling. Usually this part, not for very experienced surgeon, takes half an hour. The operation room time is very expensive, and that's the important part. Less complications also, because when you miss the
Do you have the clinical data, or are you going to?
We have the clinical data. We have a very good learning curve. We don't have hundreds of clinical tests. We have only 34 up to date. But we have seen that for certain doctors started with this device. His first operation was 11 minutes. His second operation was 8. His third operation was 5. So that's the, because the device is very simple, and you can think it is just an aiming and helping device for him. That's all.
The thing is, it's within a general code of a procedure.
We don't change the procedure.
You don't change it, yes.
No, we cut in a certain position this procedure when they start to aim for the distal holes, if you are talking about the nailing.
Yeah. Okay. Yossi has a question, and then Harold will also have a
so
quick
it
question.
can work with any other nailing from each and every company, so it doesn't depend on the nailing.
Yeah, that was the main reason of development. We can go from one nail to another just by changing a mechanical adapter, piece of metal.
It seems to me that I understand the value proposition is clear about the reducing the exposure to X-rays and the time and the cost and everything. Given that you have 34 clinical studies, which seems to me a very nice achievement in the incubation period, why not to concentrate on the application that you already finished and go to a very big company, because this is going to be a learning process for the company, a very difficult penetration to the market. It's still drilling. Why to go to spine and the drill, you know, at the same time? I think that this is for a very big guy to go into the market. Are you willing to go by yourself?
First of all, if I understand the question, we are doing exactly this. We are going forward with the first device, contacting big companies. For example, half a year ago, less than half a year, 4 months ago, we were in the United States proposing this system for one of the biggest companies in this field. It is Synthes. Now, Synthes, a month later, was sold to J&J. And they were very excited about it, but they changed the attitude now. And we are waiting for a response. Still not this. So we are not in the production stage. What we want to do now is to prepare for the production, to put in Israeli hospitals, let's say, 5 to 10 systems for work, because in every operating room has to be such a system, and to gain the experience. That's the first stage. The second, we need to develop, you have seen a big number in the marketing and sales, because we want to develop it. We are reaching a big market. That's what we would like to see. In parallel, because this is a platform technology, we are going to develop components of the spine system. Here are the same elements, but we bring much more in software.
Good. There's still a lot to talk about. Extremely interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like now to call Chaim from GreenGold.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chaim Morgenstern. I am an entrepreneur and CEO of GreenGold Ltd. It is my pleasure to present you GreenGold new technology, a thermodynamic non-turbine generator, fluid magnet-based. GreenGold established in 2007 and became to be a part of LN Incubator, LN GreenTech Incubator in 2010. And just today, we finish our first year in the incubator. As you see, we have very strong R&D team, and we have support of Professor Mark Shliumis, who is worldwide known in the field of fluid magnets. Our mission is to develop a unique, completely new technology which convert thermal energy, any kind of thermal energy, into electricity without pollution and without the use of fossil fuel. And of course, low cost and more efficiency than any other technology, no. The idea looks very familiar as what we know as a refrigerator. Sorry. We have hot side, we have cold side. Over the hot side, we have steam, high pressure. At the cold side, we condense steam, low pressure. Then we open valves, fluids, magnetic fluids, runs through the coils and produce AC signal and continue pulse by pulse. The same way we can chain it like a star and have like 2, 4, 6 valve generator that produce the AC signal. We have the prototype here in the incubator. You can see, you can see here the hot element, the cold element, and the fluid circulate all the time through the system. The efficiency calculate was 39.2% efficiency under 400 degrees centigrade, which is a relatively very high and very impressive number. The advantages, we have high efficiency, no need for turbine, no mechanical element moves. The fluid itself is the turbine or become a semi-solid valve only in the production place. Simplicity, almost as a refrigerator, no air and water pollution, no need for fossil fuel, and it can match to the national net. As we see, the clean tech market where we are supposed to be in is very large and very impressive. For example, in wind, 10 billion, solar, 9 billion, biofuel, 4 billion, energy efficiency, almost 4 billion, etc. I think this market is much larger. We are going to go in this market with a low temperature, very high efficiency solution, so we can bring back electricity in a heavy industry plant, power plant, and bring back electricity and save money and save pollution. So, for example, the energy efficiency number can duplicate himself many times, and even in the solar area, we can make a revolution. If we start with the heavy industry or power plant emissions and solar, this part is the heavy industry and power plant, solar energy, and also car engine, car motor, as I said, any kind of thermal heat. We think we can be a profitable company after the second year because there is no really solution yet for this temperature area. Right now we are in the incubator stage. We build a prototype that can produce electricity and be a standalone system. Then we're supposed to go to the second stage to build the final prototype, final machine that produce the continuous electricity with the number that we promised, which split to two. Generators, residual heat boilers, car engine, and for the solar to home use, farm and industry, and the desalination plant and the far areas. For the competition, we have unique and innovative system, nothing like this. No competitor, no really competitor in low temperature range, and no turbine, so high efficiency system. The first, we're supposed to start with the heavy industry emissions, where they look for someone to open the bottleneck from heating emissions and thermosolar solutions. Then, because of regulations and regulations time, we'll start to go into power plant and vehicles. The status now, we have a proof patent in United States and in Israel, no exceptions. It get without any exceptions, complete approved. And another two patent pending, which support the IP. We have advanced prototype that already produce the electricity, and large market exposure, as we said, it can meet and match any kind of heat, any kind of heat emission. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you also for being on time. Thank you for this very interesting presentation, Ilya.
Thank you. I guess I'm not sure even I can ask a question. I cannot comment on the quality of the company at this point because from this presentation I haven't been able to figure out what it is that exactly you're doing and what your claim is. You're saying services, you're saying you are addressing energy needs and everything. I'm not even sure what you are, what's the product. What problem you're trying to solve. Are you making electricity out of low, waste heat? Are you...
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you probably should state it somewhere, early enough in the presentation so that people understand what it is that you're doing. Because essentially, again, unfortunately, it's a commentary mostly on presentation, not on the company. And the company may be great and wonderful, but from the presentation, I haven't been able to figure it out. Really, you haven't addressed the point of how you're going to be doing, how you plan to earn money, and what's this technology actually. You said there are a couple of patents and something is pending, but when I'm looking at the company, I'm first trying to figure out for myself whether something that people are trying to present to me makes physical sense or a second law of thermodynamics has been violated, which I've seen more than once in the companies that have been presented to me. So please address that. Maybe not this very moment, but in the future presentations, that's something that has to be there. Because what you are saying makes sufficiently drastic claims. You're saying you're better than just about anything in the world. You don't need this and that and something else, but you're not saying what it is that you're doing and why you can claim this. And the prototypes that you're showing there, well, it's a photograph of some contraption on a table. It doesn't necessarily convince anybody that this is something working and producing. That's sort of it's not even a question, it's a commentary.
Okay. The idea is to make electricity direct transforming electricity from heat. So this whole idea is system that transform heat to electricity based on a fluid magnet. And what I'm saying, there is no yet a solution to do it in low temperature. We got a picture of the model because it's hard yet to show electricity till the moment it's a full production, full production system.
Have you tried to work with any independent laboratory sort of so that they can confirm your claims, like certified or even just reputable university laboratory? Independent of your collaborators?
Not yet, but it's very easy to come and visit us and to make the setup.
Visiting doesn't help.
No, not yet. Okay.
what would be the first application of all the potential ones that you have shown?
Running system, standalone running system, closed loop, with artificial heat, producing the electricity, and it's all from on-the-shelf element with the fuel.
And do you forecast any problems from moving from prototype to full-scale industrial in the market?
No, not really, because we are stay on the timetable, and we reach the point each at a time. Right now, we only 1 year in the incubator, and we already got the electricity, which at the beginning no one believed it can happen, because it's completely new technology, completely new idea to get this fluid that come from the brakes or valves, to put it inside the thermodynamic system and take out of it electricity. No one think or thought that it's possible, and it's actually running, and we are improve the system day by day.
I understand that the theoretical efficiency that you calculated is 56%, and the...
No, it's split too. 56% is for the mechanical, and 70% for the electricity part, and together we got the 39.2, yes.
And what is the efficiency that you measure with your prototype in the laboratory today?
Right now I build the ability to produce the electricity. I got the AC signals, and I can't calculate it yet.
The efficiency?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to invite Guy Weiss, now from Evilio. In the meantime, I'll tell the judges that we have 5 companies. We have 2 in IT, we have 2 in healthcare, and we have 1 in the energy space. You will have to pick out 2 winners. They can't be both in the same category, so they can't be both in healthcare or both in IT. Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Guy Weiss. If you would like to remember my name, so it's the wise guy. It's catchy. I'm an inventor, but not less, I'm a businessman. I know how to take a concept, a vision, and create a profitable company from this vision. Evigilo, it's an IT Israeli startup focused on the homeland security sector. The name Evigilo is coming from the Latin word, be alert. So the meaning of the name Evigilo is be alert. The company was established exactly 3 years ago in the biggest crisis, financial crisis. And today we already employ 20 people. We have current investors, which are a private venture capital from the US, from the UK, and 2 Israeli one. And we are also supported by the Chief of Science in Israel. We are just finishing the 2nd year of support, and we, as you said, beginning, Mr. Tukut, we are in the win-win situation. We want the grant, and we are paying royalties already to the Chief of Science. Our 2 biggest projects are national alerting system, which we install in Israel with the Home Front Command, and a national alerting system that we install in Chile after we won an international tender for earthquake and tsunami. The team of the company consists people from 2 different worlds, from the security business and from the IT and telecom business. Myself and my partner, Felix, we are coming from the telecom business. We have a very strong background in IT and telecom, more than 15 years both. and we have a very strong Russian background as well, which I will explain later. In the board, we have today Major General Jerry Gershon, which was the chief of the Home Front Command. In the advisory board, we have Yaakov Perry, which was the chief of the Israeli Security Services, the CEO of Cellcom, and the chairman of Bank Mizrahi Tfachot. And we used to have in the advisory board Major General Yair Naveh, which left us to the army and today is the deputy chief of command of the Israeli Defense Force. Our financial history started 3 years ago when the company started. And after 3 years in the market, we're already going to reach this year the sales of almost $6 million. If you're talking about P&L, so this year we are going to be profitable. The third year of working of the company, we are going to be profitable, not a lot, $300,000, but we are going to be profitable. The next steps of Vigilo, as we see it, is the way to the Russian Silicon Valley. We understand the model, we understand that we need to establish a Russian company together with a partner, Russian local partner, and we aim to develop the next product, which will be called City Alert in this subsidiary. Not subsidiaries, a company. The problem that we would like to solve in this venture is the municipal alerting system. There is a lack of communication between the municipal and the citizen, the resident of the city, in times of crisis. And our new product, which called City Alert, will give the municipal the ability to communicate with the population in terms of emergency. It means to send an alert on multi-channel and to receive information as well from the public, for example, by using panic button on the phone. We are going to use a multi-channel approach, which means we are going to send information on a geo-targeted level to all the devices which are in the market. For example, smartphone using different devices like iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, Windows Mobile, internet alert using computer, tablets, billboards in the street, browsers, and of course, emails, Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. So basically, everything which surround the population today from technology point of view, we are going to reach and we are going to alert. I would like to show you a very short video concept of what we are doing. So yeah, let's hope it will work.
The only source of knowledge is experience. Albert Einstein.
Now we are sending the alert from the system, triggering multi-channels to a geo-targeted area. For example, sirens, mobile phones, billboards in the street. Digital TV.
Alert. Dangerous chemical spill in the area. Enter the nearest shelter.
Digital radio.
Dangerous chemical spill in the area. Enter the nearest shelter.
And internet. Desktop.
Alert. Dangerous chemical spill in the area.
eVigilo, the world's...
The go-to-market strategy is using the Vigilo partners and sales channels. We are not doing a direct sell to the municipals, and we are not doing any activities with the countries. We are using first-tier integrators today, working with IBM, Finmechanica, HP. The project in Israel is with Ericsson, Sistema in Russia, Alcatel-Lucent, Siemens, Indra, which is the biggest integrator in Spain. Our customers, of course, it's municipal cities, local emergency centers. The competitors are companies which are dealing basically with SMS and IVR notification. They don't have the multi-channel notification, they don't have the sensor integration, and they don't have the interactive application and integration. The barrier to entry to this market is mainly a patent. Today we have 4 patents, but for the new product we are going to register additional patents which will be owned by the Russian subsidiary. The financial project is based on SaaS. We are not planning to sell the system. We are planning to provide a service which each municipal can buy from the integrator. And by this, we are going to reduce the level of entry and make it very, let's say, cheap for the municipals, because they are going to pay only $1 for citizen per year, which is a very low cost, no setup fee. So we assume that in 5 years, we'll be able to sell around $500 million. The investment thought that we had is $3.8 million for R&D expenses for 2 years, basically to build the alpha version of City Alert and to have the proof of concept by creating an operational pilot with 1 or 2 cities. Why us? First of all, we are focused. We are focusing on alert. We did it with the national alerting system. We are going to do the same with the municipal alerting system. We have a proven delivery track record. We brought a product from vision to sales in 3 years. We have a proven experience of managing a project like this, and we have a proven success by becoming the leading company in the world today, which are dealing with the multi-channel alerting systems. And we have a very strong Russian background. Myself, I worked in Russia for 4 years, and I was doing sales in Russia for more than $50 million to the mobile operator in Russia. I was the general director of a company in Russia. My partner Felix is a Russian speaker and born in Russia. And we have a very strong background in Russia. Q&A.
Very impressive. Thank you very much. Wise guy.
I will put in the background a movie without a sound, and let's do the Q&A session.
Yeah, he's stealing time. Very good.
Of the Prime
He's
Minister.
The wise guy, indeed, yeah.
Yeah. This is the Q&A session. There is a subtitles in Russian, so everybody who speaks Russian can understand what is happening in the movie. But the movie is not working.
Alex.
No, it's working. This is the visit of the Prime Minister in the Home Front Command, and you can see I'm stealing some time. No. Yeah, I'm here.
No, the system is quite impressive. Well, your pricing is kind of surprising. You said what? $1 per capita?
$1 per citizen.
Per citizen. So if you have 12 million city like Moscow, you want to charge them $12 million.
First of all, a city like Moscow will require a special business model. But if you're talking about a village or a city which have 5,000 people, and most of the countries you have one mega city and a long tail of very small cities. So the business case is very aimed to these small cities. I believe Moscow maybe will buy the system, it will not license it like this.
Well, and then another question was this product aimed to one and only one authority in the country, because basically it's one ministry or probably a couple of authorities dealing with similar kind of alert system or security system. So it's a ministry of, Minister of Emergency in Russia, for example. So it's either you win or you lose. There is no other chance. I mean, there was nothing to do with cities.
So, okay, maybe you didn't understand me correctly. Our initial product was a national alerting system. What we are aiming right now to develop, it's a municipal alerting system. No, so in each country, you have a lot of customers.
I perfectly understand it, but in Russia, specifically in Russia, alerting systems are under, I would say, authority of the same ministry, probably local branch of them, MCHS, of course.
But MCHS is controlling the national level. They are not dealing with the municipal level.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know,
we learn the market over there as well. So we have a lot of customers. I assume that we will have competition as well. So in each city we will face different competition from different companies as well.
Right, so it's nice product. I mean, nice, very, very interesting market niche. As of us, as Skolkovo, we are trying to support projects with more R&D part in it, with more science in it, with more, I would say, real research, real uniqueness in this. And this product is very good. It's kind of the integration of existing models, just put them together and run. So question, why is it unique? I mean, what's the USP of that?
Okay, if you're talking about R&D effort, I can give you some kind of estimation. In the first stage of the product that we built, we put around 20 years of engineers to design and develop the first stage. In the second stage that we are doing right now, we are already investing 15 years of development and R&D effort in the product. There is a very unique algorithm in the product which will enable to send the alert, to send it to the right information at the right time with the right message. And it's not only taking different parts, but it's also, there's a very heavy R&D effort in the heart of the system. And this is the unique of our solution, and this is why we are succeeding to do it and compete in the market.
Ilya? I actually have also a couple of questions, just like Alexander. I think that I will harp a little bit more on the point that Sasha brought up. In any city, you will find 2, 3, 4 local cellular providers. Well, for example, you are working with Sistema. That means that you're missing about 60% or 70% of the people who are not using Sistema's MTS.
No, Sistema, I'm talking about Sistema as an integrator, not Sistema as MTS. If you're talking about Citronics, which is Sistema integrator.
So you would still use the sort of a national, some sort of a national system to go to the companies and force them to take
We are going to use Sistema, in this example, is an integrator like IBM. So if you're going to Russia, IBM is not strong as Sistema, for example, as Citronics.
I can understand how Sistema will work with MTS, but I really don't see, very much for Sistema working with Beeline or Megaphone in Russia, for example.
Yeah, okay.
They would have to be very, very convincing. A. B. I understand how you can localize, for example, if there is a chemical spill. You don't want to send alert about chemical spill to the citizens of the entire Russia. You probably want to limit it to like 20 miles in radius or 10 miles in radio, whichever. I understand how you can localize based, on the presence of cellular phones. That's what cells are for. How are you planning to do that for computers? My IP address, for example, travels with me. I'm sitting in Tel Aviv and suddenly getting an information that in the suburb of Moscow something, got chemical spill. Do you address that at all?
Yeah. If you want to localize alerting for the internet, it's been done by a pre-register. So basically, you as a subscriber, as a citizen, you will have to register for the internet alert, and you will have to put your address. So according to the address that you will put in the service, or according to the records that they have in the database of the city, we will know how to alert you. But it will not be done by the IP in this case.
Any questions from the audience?
I want to ask one question. Is possible? What is your major problem?
Our major problem?
Yes. Give me one single major barrier or challenge that you have right now. Because you are looking for $4 million for something that looks that BB is using already, so we have no problems. What is your problem? What is your major challenge?
I think that the challenge is the sales cycle. I think that you have to understand the market and you have to penetrate the market. The sales cycle is not so easy. You have to understand the customer. You have to go to a tender process in several places. You have to create the demand in some cases. I think this is the challenge. The challenge is in the business. And this is why I started to say that I'm a businessman, not only an inventor, but also a businessman. So the challenge is really in the business. I think that if you understand the business, you can create money from this venture. If you don't understand the business and you are focusing only on the technology, you will not make the money because you will miss the business.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Guy, this was very impressive. I would like to call Micha now to give a presentation on a company called Jointech.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Micha Ostreich. I'm representing Jointech. Jointech is dealing with orthopedic area, and mainly with osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. Osteoarthritis, just in general, one slide about the disease. It's also called, it's a degenerative joint disease. It's a group of mechanical abnormalities. You can see in the two pictures in the left how healthy knee is look like from the inside, and in the right side how osteoarthritic knee looks like. It started in the age of 40, 45. And the symptoms are mild to severe pain, stiffness, effusion. Effusion means fluids inside the knee. And the market for this disease is huge. We're speaking about in the US only 28 million that suffers from from osteoarthritis. It's because of heavy weight and also genetic. And for our project, the main patient that we're dealing with is the patient who suffers from a fused knee. It's around 44%. The current treatment is divided to three categories. The pharmacotherapy, and inside we can find the non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs, the hyaluronic acid injection, but this treatment is first expensive, influence on systemic influence, so if a patient needs to take it for a long period, it can influence its liver and a lot of symptoms. The second treatment is arthroscopy, that in one procedure, the orthopedic surgeon insert the arthroscopy and evacuate the fluids. But in recent research that were published last year, it found that after 3 months to 6 months, it's recurrent. So it's temporary solution. It's very expensive. It's around $6,000 per procedure, and only temporary relief. The last one is a total joint replacement. Replace the joint. It's around 600,000 procedures per year in 2006. But, and I was not standing here if there was no but. This procedure is fit only for 15 years approximately. And after that, the patient has to recount this operation and another joint replacement, which the success is a lower rate. So we are looking for a device that will delay the total joint replacement and relieve the patient's pain. What we're trying to do is the cartilage injury and the inflammation cause to two things: inflamed particles and access of synovial fluid. These both phenomena cause to cartilage degeneration and effusion that both cause to pain. What we're trying to do, and what we would like to do, is to cut this arthritic vicious cycle by cut the chain, stop the effusion, and if possible, stop the cartilage degeneration. By that, we will stop the pain and maybe we'll delay the operation. So, reduction of intra-articular knee pressure by evacuation of the fluid and evacuate the inflammatory mediators will cause to reduction of the pain, improvement of quality of life, and this is one very important issue, the quality of life of this patient. They cannot walk, they cannot do anything. And we are trying to aim to slow the osteoarthritis deterioration. So, after trying to solve this problem, we jointly invent a new type of implant. In the picture it looks very big, but actually it's very small. It's about 18 millimeters diameter and 1 centimeter long. What we implant it above in the knee. I will show you in a minute the location. And it's very simple. It's diverting fluids from the intra-articular to the subcutaneous. Subcutaneous means under the skin. It's not taking the fluids out of the body. It's taking the fluids from the intra-articular, which is a closed place, into the subcutaneous, and from there it's just substance in the body. It's a minimally invasive. The procedure is very, very simple. It's 5 to 10 minutes, but actually after 3 procedures, the orthopedic surgeon, it's around 2 minutes operation. Very simple, even a practitioner can do it. The location is a bit 45 degrees above the patella. I'm not going to enter into the details. It's not well. The main issue, we choose the location that is not influence the human or the patient's activities. Means they can walk, they can do everything, and they cannot feel the implants unless they're trying to. At this moment, as my colleague Lev said, we were asked to take out the tissue pictures, especially after lunch. So I just summarized the clinical study. 12 patients were recruited at the last year. The shunts were implanted in designated location, very easy, between 2 to 10 minutes. And all of the patients show a well-defined passage from the knee capsule to the subcutaneous, and the patient released on the same day. We have results after 6 months. We choose to use international questionnaires that all the in orthopedic papers using it, and you can see that the patient feels less pain. The pain score is high, so it means the patients were improved. If you look at the inflammatory particles, which is very important in our project, the level of the inflammatory particles decrease significantly. The TNF-alpha, the IL-1, I will summarize at the end, the IL-1 also significant result, and the IL-6. To summarize, the patients feel less pain, the quality of life was improved, decreased the cytokine level, and decreased the fusion in the affected knee. What we're looking for now is to enlarge the clinical study in Russia, in Russia. We want to perform clinical study between 30 to 100 patients, and all the clinical activities to move from Israel to Russia.
Thank you very much, Micha. Andrei, please.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's very interesting. What's your expectation from your cooperation with Skolkovo? You consider your cooperation like platform for intervention on the market, or you want to use our scientific potential for to develop your invent?
I think it's both. First, to use your platform to develop the main stage, which is the clinical stage, and then from there take it to the market. The first market will be the CE, because the regulatory access there is more familiar and more easier, if you can say so. And together take the product to international market.
Do you have already partners in Russia, and if yes, who they are?
No, we don't have partners in Russia.
The answer was that if this company will be chosen as one of the two companies that will work with Israel's Skolkovo Gateway, this is our job to find them the right partner in Russia and execute this binational model that we were discussing from the beginning of this conference. Okay, thank you.
I'd like to say that if our cooperation will be successful, I think we will find very good partners for you in Russia. Yeah.
Okay.
If you can, first of all, very impressive. I saw the company like a year ago, and it's really nice to see the progress of the company. If you can elaborate more of what is the removing of the fluid is doing, if you understand the mechanism, and beside of seeing the marker, if you saw a different of the progression of the disease, you're saying that it's like a bridge or to extend the time before doing a surgery. So if you can explain more, about your result, about the functionality, about the need for how much follow-up in order, to say that you are really actually stopping or, decreasing the progress of the disease.
It can take a long time to answer your question. By moving the fluids and moving the inflammatory particles, one of the main causes to cartilage degeneration is these particles. If we take these inflammatory mediators out, means the cartilage, we will stop the cartilage degeneration. Means when we are looking at patients that if you compare patients that the disease is stable, means that the inflammatory mediators are not getting higher. The whole idea of this device, first is to take the pain or relieve the pain, and take these inflammatory mediators out, and by that stop or slower the disease. The next, right now the follow-up is 1 year.
And you're going to show a result of MRI?
Maybe. We have to think about the next, we just performed 12, we recruited 12 patients. It's only a pilot study. I cannot stand here and tell you for sure that everything is fantastic. We have to prove it in clinical studies, long-term clinical studies, with a larger sample size and comparable sample group. We have to think very to take it in consideration and to think about the next stage, but these results can show that there is something else. It's kind of thinking out of the box from today's current treatments. And we believe that in larger group, the statistic results will give us better estimation.
Okay. Micha, thank you very much. I would like herewith to thank the panel. Thank you very much for your important input and your insights. Please fill out the forms, 2 companies each. Again, not in the same field, not 2 in life sciences, and not 2 in IT. I thank you very much, and thank you again for having us here, and wish you again a good conference.